Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by your Southeast Toyota dealer. Get all the quality and reliability of a Toyota during Toyota's Best for Less sales event. Toyota moving forward. By Aflac, we got you under our wing. By Metro PCS, plans start at just $30 a month. And by Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. Come on in to Petco Park. Josh Gere's first pitch misses, according to Mike DeMuro. Chris Coughlin leads it off. Emilio Bonifacio and Hanley Ramirez to follow. That one is low as well. The Marlins, a pair of 3-2 wins to open up this three-game series and a chance to sweep the Padres in San Diego. 2-0 pitch. Coughlin takes a strike. DeMuro with Ron Copa, Dale Scott, Jerry Meals. Josh Gere's numbers, not so good in 15 starts. He is a work in progress right now out of Forney, Texas, and Rice University.
Well, and as you mentioned, Rich, he's allowed 23 home runs, tied for first in the National League with Braden Looper.
Drive into right. And a sinking liner. Venable makes the catch.
Chris Coughlin needs to get a little luck going because he's hit some balls hard in this series.
Yes, he has. Only a couple of hits to show for it. Coughlin in the leadoff spot today with Emilio Bonifacio. Hanley Ramirez, the batting leader in the National League. Hermida slides up to the cleanup spot with Ugla hitting fifth. Ross Glode gets a start at first. Cody Ross in center. John Baker's been productive in this series in the 8th spot. And Nolasco is in the 9th spot. Here is Bonifacio, and Emilio rips one to right center field. Ball's pretty well hit. Venable and Macias out there, and it's Drew Macias who makes the catch.
Well, we'll take a look at that Padre defense this afternoon with Kyle Blanks, Drew Macias, and Will Venable in the outfield. Kuzmanoff and Adrian Gonzalez anchor the corners, and Cabrera Rodriguez up the middle. Eliezer Alfonso behind the plate. And boy, we've seen some terrific plays by the young shortstop, Everett Cabrera.
He's been fun to watch. So has Hanley Ramirez with 4 hits in this series, pumping his batting average up to .348. And for Hanley, that is the National League lead. He is 16 points ahead of Albert Pujols, who's at .332. Miguel Tejada, .326, tied with Pablo Sandoval for 3rd in the National League. And I think an example, Tommy, last night of why Hanley has got to be the favorite to win the batting title. Line drives and infield hits, plenty of speed, and that certainly is going to help.
Yeah, Hanley with a 3-hit night last night, 2 of those of the infield variety. We've seen him take one in the second deck here, so he's shown a little bit of everything against the Padres.
Tejada has more hits, and of course Hanley has a better average. 0-2, and a tapper. Rodriguez to first. Josh Gere steers clear of the fish in the first inning. Bottom of the first, scoreless. The San Diego Padres have fallen, and they can't get up right now. 37 and 57, 20 under. Padres lead it off with their Rule 5 shortstop Everett Cabrera. Will Venables in right field. Adrian Gonzalez so dangerous at first base. Kuzminoff has shown some pop in this series. Drew Macias gets a start in center. No Tony Gwynn in the lineup. Kyle Blanks hit one about 410 feet last night. Luis Rodriguez has been at second for all 3 games. And Eliezer Alfonso is back behind the plate with gear in the 9 spot.
Well, you look at the numbers on Ricky Nolasco, obviously overall, but a much better pitcher since his return. Tries to pick up win number 7 and even his record.
And Cabrera, lots of speed, leads it off. Nolasco misses outside. Cabrera, Rule 5 pick out of the Rockies organization. And he was at Single A last year, had a terrific year. And the jump really from Single A to the big leagues is a huge one. A lot of times you'll see a Rule 5 guy taken from Double A. That's where Dan Uggla was. He was Double A with Arizona in 05 before the Marlins grabbed him in 06. But Cabrera is such a tantalizing package of defense and speed, and the Padres are in a position to take a chance with a guy like that. They grabbed him. He's 22. He's from Nicaragua.
Yeah, occasionally you might see a pitcher taken in the Rule 5 from A-ball, but not too often a position player. Over 70 stolen bases last year. He hasn't gotten on track with his bat, but certainly with his glove, he's at major league level.
Good breaking ball. That's strike 3 call that popped out of Baker's glove. And Ricky's curveball, a good one. His last time out, Nolasco pitching against the Phillies. Caught enough of the plate and not enough of the glove.
Yeah, not enough of Bake's glove, but enough of the plate.
Nolasco started that game, the extra inning game against the Phillies, and pitched all right. He gave up 4 runs in 6 innings. The Marlins, of course, came back and tied that game at 4, and then eventually lost it in 12. This is Venable.
That's always a good sign to see Ricky drop that pitch in for strikes early on. He's pitched well in this ballpark. He's 1-2 in his career. There's that breaking ball, good curveball, but 1-1 with a 2.57 ERA at Petco.
I was talking to Chris Volstad before the ball game, last night's starter, and I asked him, I said, how would you like to pitch half of your games in this ballpark? And his eyes got real big, and he said, oh man, this is a great place to pitch.
And he laughed, he smiled and said to me, he said, yeah, I did keep my parents up late.
Everybody was up late with the Fish last night, but it was a good time, a big night for emails and a big night for the Marlins. Even though the Marlins haven't scored a lot of runs in this series, they've scored just 6, 2 3-2 wins. But a win is a win, and the Marlins a game back over the 500 mark, headed to Los Angeles to open up a 3-game series on Friday night. 1-2 coming to Will Venable. There's the breaking ball, and Nolasco has a pair of strikeouts. No need for the defense right now behind Nolasco.
Well, so far we like what we see from Ricky Nolasco. Here's the defense. Conklin, Ross, and Hermida in the outfield. Over third is Bonifacio, and over at first is Ross Claude getting the start this afternoon. Up the middle with Ramirez Uggla and John Baker behind the plate. You want to see that last pitch one more time? Here it is. I think the slider and the curveball have both been effective early on so far.
Well, here's a fun matchup. Nolasco against Adrian Gonzalez. Ricky misses outside. The Marlins really haven't pitched around Gonzalez in this series overtly. I mean, there have been some cautious at-bats, but for the most part, they've gone after him.
He has not walked in this series, and he had a stretch, Rich, in the month of June. He set a major league record of 2 or more walks in 8 straight games.
There's his career against Nolasco. In this series, he does have 3 hits, including the home run in Game 1. And Ricky misses outside. It's 3-0.
Oddly enough, a guy who's had some success against Ricky's on deck. Kevin Kuzminoff.
Yeah, you wouldn't think so, because Kuzminoff, a first pitch swinger, a righty against a righty. Velasco not happy with himself. I don't think he was pitching around Gonzalez, just by his reaction there.
No, I don't think so, especially in the first inning with nobody on base. I think he just missed his spots, fell behind, and then couldn't get it back together.
So here is Kuzminoff. Kuzminoff, of course, came over from Cleveland. Josh Barfield was the young second baseman for the Padres. That was a trade that was made in 2006. And Kuzminoff has kind of gotten a little bit better each year. Very good third baseman defensively. They would love to see a little more production out of him.
Yeah, I think it's one of those trades. Initially, a lot of people thought the Indians did a little bit better.
Yeah, you're right.
Barfield never worked out or panned out with Cleveland, and Kuzminoff has become the everyday third baseman.
He is not a cleanup hitter, but the Padres lineup is kind of patched together because of injuries, because of youth, and because of a rebuilding process that is happening for a lot of reasons, one of which is a change in ownership of this franchise. You talked about two of their biggest pieces that they probably could trade, which fuels and helps a rebuilding process. Both of them injured right now.
Yeah, Jake Peavy and Brian Giles, and I don't think we've even mentioned Cliff Floyd, who they signed in the offseason, and he's injured.
2-1. Well, Ricky, that's a strike on the check swing. Ron Kulpa says a swing. But Ricky, after striking out Cabrera and Venable, having trouble finding the plate, and I think he gets a break on that call.
Yeah, he did. A little bit of a break.
Two coming. Fastball up and in. And it's 3-2. A lot of strikeouts, not a lot of walks for Kuzminoff. Runner on the way, the 3-2 blew it by him. Fastball, Nolasco strikes out 3 in the first, and we're underway on a beautiful day in San Diego. So much to do, so much to see in San Diego. And the weather has been outstanding. 76 degrees right now. Perfect. It's been hot, according to the locals, the last couple of days. But for the Marlins, a little bit of relief from the South Florida heat and humidity.
Yeah, not so much even the heat and humidity. The ever-present afternoon rain and the rain delays. It's nice to know you get to the ballpark, you're going to take batting practice on time, you're going to take it on the field, and no delays. And that's what the Marlins will have in 2012 when they move into their new home.
Hermida is quickly 0-2 against Josh Gear. We haven't talked much about Gear. He's 26. There's the park at the park, the fans out there on the grass, way out in right center field. Hermida drives one to right and hits it deep and hits it out, way out. And the Marlins have a 1-0 lead. Jeremy Hermida in the cleanup spot with Cantu getting the day off. Hits the 24th home run of the season against Josh Gear. That is tops in the National League.
Yeah, he had been tied with Braden Looper, who threw 7 shutout innings last night. So Looper didn't allow a home run, but look at this hanging breaking ball, middle of the plate, and just a terrific swing. All of a sudden, it looks like Jeremy Hermida said, okay, I'm in that cleanup spot. I'm going to go deep, and deep he went.
Here is Ugla. So Hermida hits his 11th. And the Marlins are on the board. Now it's Ugla with a count 0-1. Dan has 3 hits. His bat has sparked to life. And they desperately need it right now, the Fish do, in this series. Ugla swings and misses. And an off-speed pitch. 1-2. Ugla double last night and a line drive out, a 1-for-3 night. Also walked and scored. The Marlins, of course, had the weekend series against the Phillies. Lost 3. The 4th game was washed out on a Josh Johnson start. JJ had a 2-0 lead early against the Phillies when the game was called. That one just misses. And so Josh will get the ball to start things in Los Angeles on Friday night, which should be a fun series.
Well, it's certainly a ballpark he remembers. Remember, that was his first start after coming back from Tommy John surgery. He'll go up against a young lefty who pitched tremendously against the Marlins in Florida, Clayton Kershaw.
Rick Vandenhert gets the start on Saturday against Hiroki Kuroda. And Chris Volstad gets the start. Ugla.
That's nice.
Little emergency swing on an off-speed pitch, and he strokes it into center field with a base hit.
You know, you hear this so often. Hitters get fooled all the time. But if you're able somehow to keep your hands back and you have strength that Dan Ugla has, you can still just kind of poke that ball out and get a base hit when you're fooled. And Ugla was fooled and got the base hit.
Chris Volstad, of course, at Dodger Stadium, made his Major League first start in the Major Leagues.
And almost threw a complete game.
Yeah, he came an out away. I think it was Jeff Kent that was coming up with a runner on base when Volstad exited that game. Volstad starts on Sunday. Jason Schmidt is finally off the disabled list, and he is slated to go for the Dodgers. Glode's numbers, good. We've talked about it. He's been one of the top pinch hitters in the National League. He and Wes Helms. That has been one of the strengths of the Marlins this year. If you look overall, people talk, well, is your pitching good? How's your defense? What about hitting? Oftentimes, you don't look deep enough to say, how's your bench? And the Marlins bench has been very good. Helms and Glode have had big pinch hits all season long. Both of them are solid defensively. Glode swings and misses.
Yeah, Glode has a little pop. He'll give you that home run. Had that 2-homer game against the Cardinals in June. I think if you see teams and look at teams that reach postseason, they usually all have pretty solid benches with veteran players.
And Glow goes after a pitch in the dirt. Gear featured nothing but off-speed pitches to Ross Glow.
Well, let's give you a little bit of a scouting report on Josh Gear, making his first appearance against the Marlins. Big year in the minor leagues in 07. He does give you that little funky arm action and a quick move over to first base. In 07, he was in the Texas League. He was 16-6.
That's not an easy league to pitch in. It's a good hitters league. Here's Cody now. Gear's fastball is not a 90s type fastball. It's more 80s.
He kind of get away with that delivery that he has, but so far that delivery hasn't worked up here.
More journey as opposed to like U2 or something.
Yes.
Here's the 0-1. And that's down low. So the Marlins going to have to be patient against this guy, but the payoff is big. He's given up 24 homers now. And he's given up home runs in 8 consecutive starts. And that includes a 4-homer game against the Angels and a 3-homer game in San Francisco.
You have the feeling, Rich, that Bud Black, the Padre manager, is going to have Gear on a short leash. I mean, his last 2 starts, he's gone just 8 2/3 innings, given up 14 hits and 11 runs, and as you pointed out, a lot of home runs.
He doesn't walk a lot of people. He's walked just 21 hitters in 94 innings. Runs it in on Cody.
But from a big powerhouse baseball school, Rice University, seemed to always get to super regionals in the College World Series.
Throw to first.
There's that little spin move over to first base.
Two coming to Cody Ross. And he pounds it foul. Padres have had a variety of catchers, and one of the guys on the Padres staff that has worked with them is that man. Ted Simmons was a tremendous major league player.
I'll tell you what, if you look at Ted Simmons' numbers as a catcher, he's very close to Hall of Fame consideration. He had that kind of career. One of the most consistent switch hitters I ever saw, both sides of the plate.
Ross hits a sharp one at short. Cabrera to Rodriguez, and that's an easy double play. Gear gets out of the inning, but not before Jeremy Hermida launches one and puts the Marlins on top. It's 1-0. San Diego. Is your group looking for a special event? Save money. Provide them with an unforgettable experience at a Marlins game. Call our group sales department, 305-626-SAVE. Ask about upcoming special events in July, including Healthcare Day, Scout Night, all-you-can-eat seats, and more. Marlins baseball, it's where you want to be. Tell you what, in the new ballpark for the Marlins, and you and I get to go to all the parks around the country and see the things that we like, not only in stadium, but the food items. The kids that come to these ball games, they have a great deal for kids. It's the 5 for $5. You get a hot dog, peanuts, cookie, drink, and I think popcorn, all for $5. And I went out to the concession area.
We've been going through those things this entire series.
I went out there before the game, and it just lined up with all kinds of kids that have come to the ball game here in San Diego. This is Macias. Of course, they've got the fish tacos here too, which aren't bad. Velasco misses up. Macias, Blanks, and Rodriguez. Later today, our Frank Fort is going to venture just about every place he can here in this beautiful ballpark.
See, Frank has self-control. If I did that, I'd put on 20 pounds today.
Sharp breaking ball in the inside corner. This ballpark is the whole package. It's in a great area that really has developed around it with hotels and condos and office buildings. The light rail system here in San Diego comes right by the park. All that's missing is a good ball club. And when they opened the park, the Padres were good. They won the West in 05 and 06 and narrowly missed the wild card when they collapsed at the end in 07 and had to play that one-game playoff to get into the postseason and lost in extra innings when Matt Holliday did a nosedive at home plate in Colorado. Of course, Padre fans will tell you he never touched home plate.
They may have a case, too.
Yes, they do. Drive the left. That ball's pretty well hit, and it slices foul off the bat of Drew Macias.
Well, Drew Macias getting an opportunity with Tony Gwynn sitting this afternoon, but we've seen Gwynn in center field the first 2 games of this series. This ball just slices enough. About a 1.5 foot foul, and Macias will have to do it all over again. He's been up and down 3 or 4 times this year.
Yeah, the Padres have had and we told you coming into this series, the Padres had a transaction every day for 4 consecutive days before this series started. With the injuries, Edgar Gonzalez, Velasco punches out another. So all 4 outs Ricky has recorded are strikeouts.
Now remember, Ricky had that terrific game when he was able to punch out 12. That 12 Pittsburgh Pirates. That was just before his start in Arizona. So 12 strikeouts in 8 innings against the Pirates.
Those angry Pirates have won 8-7. They beat Milwaukee today.
Now they came back. I mentioned Looper last night. Braden Looper, 7 shutout innings against Pittsburgh, and the Brewers beat them 2-0. So they got angry today.
Yeah, that's right. There's bad blood between those 2 teams. Smacked in the left by Blanks. He's got a good-looking swing. Big kid, lots of strength. Hit his first big league homer yesterday, and he singles the left.
I'll tell you the thing that was impressive last night when he hit the home run is the way that Chris Volstad pitched him early on. He pounded him inside. Well, Blanks made an adjustment, and it looked like he made one there, because when you're big and your swing tends to get a little long, the best place to pitch a hitter like that is pound him inside.
This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Florida Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the fish. Luis Rodriguez got jammed. Bonifacio over, and it's out of play.
think it's a good sign to see a pitcher, and Ricky did it there with a nice pitch to get a quick strike. It takes away, the longer that the at-bat lasts, it allows Bud Black maybe to put something on, to put a play on. But if you get that quick strike, now you start thinking about it a little.
Drive to center. Ross is over, and he makes the catch. You can just see in an inning and a half, balls off the bat during the day, very different than the 2 nights that we've been here.
Yeah, ball's jumping a little bit better. Marlins hit a couple of balls hard in the first inning.
Yeah, Jeremy Hermida hit one
real hard
in the seats. Here is Alfonso. Pirates 8-7 over the Brewers, and that's important because the Marlins are bunched up in the wild card race, and the Brewers right in the middle of things. There are 7 teams within 3.5 games of each other in the National League wild card race. The Rockies open play the leaders. Giants a half game back. Then the Braves, Houston, Cubs, and Brewers 3 back. The Marlins 3.5 back. Which should make for a wild week leading up to the trading deadline. You saw Baker imploring Nolasco to get that fastball down, even though he threw it by him.
Thus, the fun that the wild card has brought to the game, I think.
One trade this morning, the Red Sox acquiring Adam LaRoche from the Pirates for 2 prospects, a Double-A shortstop and a young pitcher. So the Pirates, piece by piece, have kind of tried to pick up what they can. There's the wild card standings.
Well, the Red Sox not sure about the health of Mike Lowell, so if they have to get Youkilis over at third, that allows them to play LaRoche at first base. You know, another trade we forgot to mention, I don't think we mentioned it last night, we could have, was the fact that Felipe Lopez was traded from the Diamondbacks to the Milwaukee Brewers.
Swing and a miss. And it's 2-2. On over to first. Blanks with a single, the only hit for the Padres. Here in the second in a 1-0 game, Ricky Nolasco, his 18th start. He is 4-2 with an ERA of under 3 since coming up from the minor leagues after just a miserable start and a mysterious start. Everybody penciled Ricky Nolasco in for another 15, 16, 17 win season.
Yeah, it is amazing, a little mysterious, because I remember, you know, you and I both talked to him a lot in the spring. He had a good spring getting his work in. He had goals. He wanted to get another 200 innings. He actually wanted to bring his walks down. So he had a good approach. It just didn't work out early in the year.
Two is up. It's up. 3-2. Runner on the move. He struck him out. Nolasco has accumulated 5 strikeouts in 2 innings. 39 pitches so far for Ricky, and a 1-0 lead. dance he is doing in this one. Batting stance guy always hits line drives. Good hitter.
I think we figured that one out, maybe.
Stay tuned. Marlins Live will have the answer. We eschew the K, they take all day. Efficient outs is what we're about.
The quick out.
There it is.
It's starting to spread
It is.
around baseball.
I think we saw it first in Arizona. They did it there. Gear takes one pitch to get Baker. And that's going to bring Velasco up with Coughlin to follow. That's not only the quick outs, but a little poetry.
And probably the first time on our broadcast that we've used the word eschew.
Velasco. Ricky, who grew up in Corona, California, Rialto High School. And so it'll be nice for him to go to Dodger Stadium and not have to worry about pitching, because he's always got such a great following with his family. They come out.
Yeah, they're here.
And
saw a lot of them here.
But Dodger Stadium's special to he and his brother. They used to go and watch a lot of Dodger games. And it's a sharp ground ball that Cabrera has. He throws him out.
You know, another Major League pitcher who grew up in this area and a former Marlin actually won a game last night for the New York Yankees. How about Sergio Mitre into the rotation for the Yankees as of this moment? Beat Baltimore 6-4, gave up 8 hits and 4 runs in 5 2/3, but got the win.
Another ex-Marlin pitcher got some bad news yesterday. Scott Olson will undergo labrum surgery, and that will effectively end his season. And we wish Scott the best of luck with that. Coughlin sprays a liner into left.
Well, another line drive off the bat of Chris Coughlin. This time he was able to drop it in for a base hit.
Yeah, he has hit line drives all over this ballpark. Most of them have found a glove. So his third hit in the series. And here's Bonifacio. And if you're going to get aggressive on the bases, here's a great time to do it with 2 outs and Bonifacio up. Coughlin swiped a bag last night. Marlins not only stealing, but did a little hitting and running last night.
Yeah, another reason it's not a bad idea to take a shot. It's the Padres are thinking the same thing. You don't want to think the negative, but if Coughlin is thrown out, you have Bonifacio leading off the inning, next inning.
Bonifacio drove a ball to right center for an out back in the first. Had 2 hits last night. Gear to first in time. And the inning ends with Coughlin at first, 1-0 Fish.
Thanks very much. You mentioned earlier we're going to go around the ballpark today and show you some of the neat things about Petco. You've already talked about the park at the park. You've already mentioned on the broadcast the previous 2 nights the beach. But out behind the batter's eye in center field, they've got a little mini ballpark. It's a place where the kids can go. It's about the size of a Little League infield with the fence immediately behind it. And it's out beyond the batter's eye in center field. Kids can go out there, play some wiffle ball, and just have fun during the game. But it's a neat little feature here at Petco Park, something, one of the many things they have to keep the kids interested in baseball and occupied if they're not wanting to sit in the seats through a 3-hour ball game. Rich?
Frank, what's your favorite thing in this ballpark? I know you're still starting your tour, but you've been here for a couple of nights. What do you like about this park?
I just like the whole layout of it, Rich. Just the atmosphere. You mentioned the food. The food is very good here. There's also, we're going to show you, it's a very military-themed park because of the military presence here in San Diego. We're going to have a little bit something on that later in the game, but there's just a lot of neat little things about the ballpark, from the food to the way it's laid out, and just the area around the ballpark as well.
That was one of the things at the groundbreaking that caught my eye and ear, was Marlins owner Jeffrey Loria saying the food at the new Marlins ballpark is going to be fantastic.
I can't wait for that. There's a pretty quick out for Ricky Nolasco to dispose of the pitcher. You and I were talking before the game, Rich. You brought it up, and it has been so true with that ground ball going to short. Defense that Hanley Ramirez has played lately.
Yeah, I think that's lost in this season. And Hanley in the batting race, a leader. Uggla's going to his left, gobbles that one up. Hanley Ramirez has played improved defense at short, and we talked to Andy Fox about that before the ball game, and he said this year Hanley every day has worked very hard on his defense. He's much more aggressive to the ball. The routine play he's making,
which was that ground ball from Gear, the pitcher.
And another thing both he and Carlos Tosca talked about, you don't hear often, he said his internal clock is better. And what that means is he's more aware of who's at bat, how much time he has, and he doesn't get in a hurry, which had hampered him his first 3 years in the big leagues.
And Rich, my internal clock was ready today, and it got me up in time for this early start.
I needed my my cell phone to get me up on time after a late night with the Fish last night. Will Venable is the hitter.
See, my problem, I usually turn my cell phone off when we're on the West Coast, because invariably somebody from back east will call and forget that I'm 3 hours earlier.
See, I've got a feature where you can turn the phone off but keep the alarm on. So,
you know, I might have that. I just don't know it yet.
1-2 to Venable, who struck out back in the first. Go see our resident iPhone guy, John Solzer. He'll hook you up. He's the king of apps. He's the apps man. That went down the first baseline.
He can find any app. He can find anything on YouTube. It's amazing.
He is the creative consultant as well for Late Night with the Fish. Doing a fine job last night. We ventured from baseball to pop culture to movies last night. Here's the 1-2. We probably went a few places we shouldn't have gone. But it was late night. What the heck? Nolasco strikes out Venable. 6 punch outs for Ricky. See, look, just like that. The fourth, it's time for the duck.
Aflac!
The duck has been all over the Gaslamp District or Gaslamp Quarter. 31-41 is a Padres record. Who's the right-handed leader?
That's where you have to. Let's see. You can't use a Ken Caminiti. He was a switch hitter. We mentioned a couple of big boppers. Winfield. Nate Colbert would be a possibility. See what the Marlins can do second time around against Gear. He's only given up the one run, the home run by Hermida.
Hanley's 0 for 1. He bounced out. Hanley tries one to right. That's hit well. Venable goes back at the track, makes the catch. Right-handed hitting Padre. Garvey wasn't here long enough.
Probably wasn't here long enough. Winfield in the early years was here. Drafted out of the University of Minnesota. Wasn't Enzo Hernandez.
Enzo Hernandez. Hermida rolls out, and Gear has settled in after Jeremy's home run. Ugla's coming up. Braves are coming in, and they are hot. Right now, the Braves are 12-6 in July, Tuesday through Thursday. All three games at 7:10. You can look at them. Miami Herald on Tuesday for a 2 for Tuesday coupon. 1877 Marlins. Ugla up.
Looks like the Cubs are close to snapping that 10-game winning streak of the Phillies in Philadelphia.
9-5 Cubs in the ninth.
I don't know if that's a safe lead in the ninth inning, though, at Citizens Bank Park.
Not the way the Phillies have been playing. Colorado is playing today as well. Colorado, as we noted, is the wild card leader right now by half a game over San Francisco. Arizona 3-2 over Colorado in the third. Giants play in Atlanta tonight. The Braves hot. Gear, you were right on that scouting report. What did you call it? A funky delivery?
Yeah, kind of funky arm motion. Yeah, the Atlanta Braves get a little touch of Tim Lincecum tonight, though. That's why sometimes a pitcher that has that unusual delivery, it could be a shoulder turn, it could be the arm angle, it's more interesting to watch the second and third time around, because sometimes that first time around it's hard for hitters to pick them up.
Ugla picks that one up, but Venable is there, and he makes the catch. 1-2-3. Josh Gear has retired 8 in a row. College baseball on Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Marooney. Hey, South Florida, when you need a car, truck, or van, who are you going to call? 1-877-MAROONEY. By Checkers, Little Place, Big Taste. Corona, official sponsor of the Timeout. And by Honda South Florida. Visit your South Florida Honda dealers online at sfhondadealers.com. Find a deal on fuel-efficient Hondas. Headed towards the dinner hour in South Florida. It's afternoon here in San Diego, and it's a gorgeous day. The Marlins are up 1-0, thanks in large part to Ricky Nolasco and Jeremy Hermida. Hermida hit the homer, and Nolasco has struck out 6 Padres. He walked Adrian Gonzalez his first time up, and he misses high with a breaking ball. That breaker is a strike. We're still looking for the Padre all-time right-handed hit leader.
You came up with a good name between innings.
Phil Nevin. Or how about Carmelo Martinez? Hermida doesn't see it. Now he does. Had his hands up. And now, big sigh of relief, makes the catch. Summon the duck.
Affleck!
Boy, there's so many good lefties.
I think we've named most of the right-handed hitters.
Oh, it's Winfield.
That is Winfield.
Winfield, one of the numbers that's retired out there.
Not only a Hall of Famer, but he was here a little bit longer than some of those others that we mentioned.
And I believe Winfield went into the Hall of Fame as a Padre, even though he
did
many years with the Yankees. Won a world championship with the Blue Jays.
It was amazing how in those Blue Jays years, Pat Gillick was always bringing in a key piece.
A Molitor.
A Ricky Henderson, the David Cone.
Wow, that was quick. An 0-2 breaking ball, and Kuzminoff goes down for the second time in this ball game. Ricky's punched out 7.
Wow. You know, we talked about the 12 strikeouts against Pittsburgh. His career high last year against the Rockies, 13. But with the strikeouts come the pitches, and the pitch count right about mid-50s, 56 right now.
Yeah, they don't hang too many cues up.
Not when you're striking out hitters.
Unless you get them with 3 pitches, which isn't easy to do. Hanley, nice scoop.
Good play.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Down go the Padres. Marlins racing back to their dugout, ready to hit in the 5th with a 1-0 lead. Day tomorrow here in San Diego. It doesn't get better than that. Then Friday night in Los Angeles to take on the Dodgers. A Dodger dog, Farmer John's on Saturday in high definition. And then Sunday, the road trip concludes at 3:30. Then the Braves come in. Boy, the Braves, hot. Marlins have the Braves and the Cubs on the next homestand. So a good time to come out to the ballpark next week.
Good week of baseball, a tough week of baseball for the Marlins.
Ross Glode, Cody Ross, John Baker against Josh Gear, who wishes he had one pitch back, and that was the one that Hermida hit in the seats in the second inning. It was nothing but changeups to Glode when Ross struck out in the second.
You know, we've talked about Ross Glode's pinch hitting, the 10 pinch hits. And you go back his last 36 games where he's either gotten in as a starter or a pinch hitter. He's hitting over 300. I think you and I both like the rotation right now for the Braves.
Yeah,
starting to get pretty solid, pretty consistent.
I think they like it too.
Yeah, they do too, yeah.
Well, Tommy Hanson really has sparkled. I think he's 5-0. And you add that to the veteran guys they've got in Vasquez and Derek Lowe. Jair Jurgens, the young right-hander from the Netherlands, or actually, I believe it's Curaçao.
Curaçao. I think the Hanson situation is very interesting because it was either Hanson or Tom Glavine, and the Braves had to make that decision, and they ended up going with the young pitcher, and he's been tremendous.
And I think, although he's taken some heat, I think Frank Wren has done a nice job there.
He's had to make some tough decisions.
He has. They missed out on some trades in the offseason. Many people in Atlanta wanted the big names coming through, but he was able to make some key acquisitions. An inning eater in Vasquez, certainly.
You mentioned Jurgens. He goes tonight against Lincecum. We talked about that earlier. Jurgens is 8-7, but has an ERA at 2.77.
Nate McLouth has been a nice addition in center field.
Martin Prado has sparked things at the top of the lineup. They've moved Escobar down, and all of a sudden he's been productive, hitting in the middle of the order.
Escobar's having a great season.
Yes.
Of course, they sat him down too. Bobby Cox. There was a game or two where Cox decided to set Escobar down, and the young Cuban shortstop really responded. This almost feels like you're facing a knuckleballer here.
Yeah, a lot of off-speed pitches.
Yeah, because his fastball is
his fastball is mid to upper 80s.
Yeah, upper is maybe generous on that, and the changeup does funky things as well.
Another good off-speed pitch. You almost get the feeling if he threw this way at Rice, he'd have got knocked around a little bit in that conference.
Yeah.
With aluminum bats.
It is a final. The Cubs have defeated the Phillies.
Well, we know the Phillies can lose a game.
Boy, they looked like world beaters when the Marlins saw them last weekend.
And we also know that somebody can beat Jamie Moyer, because that's who started for Philadelphia today.
Baker takes down low.
Back of my mind, I would look for a little something here, maybe a hit and run with Glode at first and Baker up there.
Gear does not appear to be all that quick to the plate.
A lot of times when a guy has a decent move to first, Gear has a little quick spin move over there. A lot of times when they're quick to first, they're not real quick to the plate.
That gives them a little bit of leeway. If you don't have a good move, you better be quick to the plate.
You should have one or the other.
Baker pulls it through the hole and into right field. Glode will stop at second. Nice piece of hitting by Bake. And that'll bring the Lasco up. And Ricky probably going to bunt.
Good to see John Baker take advantage of that hole on the right side with the runner, Ross Glode, holding. Nice hold between first and second. He pulls that ball, and now you set the stage for a sacrifice bunt from Ricky.
You know, Nolasco's not a bad hitter, and this is the type of guy that if you're a pitcher and you're hitting, this is the type of guy you want to face. Because his fastball is, 84, 85. His changeup is in the 70s. It's a lot easier for a pitcher to run into one against a guy like this. Of course, you can also hit into a double play and the inning ends.
And then everybody says, why wasn't he bunting?
So Ricky, who did bounce to the shortstop, that was back in the third. Let's see if he is bunting. Here shows him a breaking ball, misses outside.
You always have to be alive as a runner at second base in this situation. And Ross Glode's a veteran runner. He has shown that he's a good base runner. To be alive as shortstop, sneaking in behind. And if the hitter bunts through a ball, it's always a tough play because you want to get the best of jumps, but you don't want to get picked off by that catcher.
Ricky bunts it. It's a good one. Alfonso picks it up and throws him out. Nicely done. Last night, Chris Volstad helped himself out with a couple of sacrifice bunts. And Nolasco sets this at bat up for a guy that has been hitting lots of line drives, Chris Coghlan.
Good job by Ricky. Drops the ball down. A good jump by Ross Glode at second base. As soon as he saw that ball bunted, he took off, and the only play for Eliezer Alfonso was to first base.
Coghlan with 2 line drives, 1 for a hit, 1 for an out. The out was out in right field. He had 2 hits last night. And his third look at Gear.
Tell you another guy the Marlins will see this weekend, looks like he's starting to get hot, is Rafael Furcal. He had a 3-hit night, hit a home run last night for the Dodgers.
Coghlan loops that into the seats. Nice play.
See, even when Coghlan hits them into the seats, they're making nice plays.
0-2. Manny Ramirez struck on the hand. And X-rays negative. He is listed as day-to-day. So get ready for all the Mannywood hoopla when the Marlins pull into town.
I think Manny's always kind of day-to-day.
One, two. Of course, we'll get a chance to see old friend Juan Pierre, and he's back in the lineup with Manny hurt. They certainly, the Dodgers certainly got an awful lot out of Pierre in Manny's absence.
Yeah, they did. It was at a time that they were able to stay above water. Water played well. They played 6-7 games over 500 with JP in the lineup.
So it's 2-2 with runners second and third. And Coghlan goes after the changeup in the dirt and gets tagged out. Josh Gear has been a frustrating AB for the Fish in a 1-0 game. Rewind. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. That was a rapid rewind. Lots of strikeouts. And one big hit. That by Jeremy Hermida. Ricky Nolasco is back to work in the 5th inning. 7 strikeouts for Nolasco so far. Blanks, Rodriguez, Alfonso. Coming up for the Padres.
6'6", 285 is Kyle Blanks.
Yeah, Blanks fills out the uniform. He's Winfield-esque.
I don't know if he was drafted in all 3 sports the way Dave Winfield was.
No, Blanks was not all that high on football in high school. He did play basketball. He was a good basketball player. Moriarty, New Mexico, and went to junior college in Arizona. And a draft and follow guy, a guy that Padres took in the 42nd round in 04, and then signed him, not immediately, but after they saw him play some more. Really has torn up the Coast League.
He's hit over 70 home runs in the minor leagues. And while doing that, maintained a 300 batting average, too.
Big breaking ball. He hits it in the air. Ross tracking it, makes the catch. We check in with Frank Fort. Frank?
All right, thanks very much, Rich. We have talked on the 2 previous nights' broadcasts about the military presence in San Diego with the naval base here in town. And the Padres are very military conscious. In fact, one of the things they have in the ballpark, as we take our tour of Petco, is a scale model of the USS Midway, a carrier which served for nearly 5 decades. The real thing, 1,001 feet long, this model is about 20 feet long. Now, among the many missions it did, when the Saigon fell in the Vietnam War, they helicoptered out the refugees. There were about 3,000 that were taken to the Midway. So there's a scale model out beyond right center field. There's also a wall out there with the names of every Major League Baseball player who has served on active duty in the military. Now, one of the many reasons the Padres are so military friendly, they actually have a director of military affairs, a retired Navy aviator, Captain Jack Ench. As that ball is skied into left field, falling quickly, and Hanley makes the play. Jack Ench spent 30 years in the Navy, was actually a prisoner in the Hanoi Hilton for about 8 months, and he was part of the last confirmed kill of a MiG in the Vietnam War. He was the radar intercept officer on the plane which shot down the last MiG in the Vietnam War. So a very much military-friendly team here in the Padres, and they always welcome servicemen to the ballpark. Guys?
Well, one of the most visible Padres is that man, Jerry Coleman, who is a longtime announcer and served with honor, great honor, in 2 wars, in World War II and Korea.
And he brings not only a baseball presence, but a military presence to the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, he was a Marine pilot in both of those conflicts.
Guys, the one thing, too, the Padres people tell me is they're claiming that Jerry Coleman is the only guy who served on active duty combat in both wars. There's a theory out there that Ted Williams was the other, but the Padres people say he was a pilot trainer during the Korean War rather than on active combat duty, and they claim that Coleman is the only major leaguer who served in the military that was in combat duty in both wars.
And Ted Williams, also a San Diego native.
That's right. 120 missions, 2 distinguished flying crosses, 13 air medals, and 3 Navy citations to go with a lifetime 263 average for Jerry Coleman.
How about the fact that Jerry Coleman is in 5 different Hall of Fames? The Padre Hall of Fame, the Ford Frick National Baseball Hall of Fame as a broadcaster, the U.S. Marine Corps Sports Hall of Fame, the National Radio Hall of Fame, and the Bay Area Sports Hall of Fame. So always a joy to come to San Diego, chat a little bit with Jerry Coleman, I believe 84 years young.
Alfonso fouls one back. Nolasco trying to get through the fifth and hang on to a 1-0 lead. The Marlins again in this ball game, as they've experienced not only here in San Diego, but you go back into that Philly series as well, having trouble scoring runs right now.
Coming into this series, the Marlins had been shut out 4 of 9 games. And the offense has obviously been enough to win the first 2 games of this series, but it's going to have to be a little bit better than this in Los Angeles.
8 strikeouts for Nolasco through 5 innings in a 1-0 game. Marlins trying to sweep the Padres. And up 1-0. One nothing at Petco. Marlins on top of the Padres. Super Saturday on the 1st of August. It's disco night. Village people will be there in concert. Marlins and Cubs and YMCA at 7:10. A Marlins rally towel courtesy of AT&T. You get the fireworks, you get the concert, and you get a good ball game because it's the Cubs and the Marlins. Bonifacio now. Let's see if the Marlins can figure out this soft tossing righty, Josh Gear. Bonifacio 0 for 2. Right back at him, as Jeff Cox used to say. And here comes Hanley.
Yeah, the Marlins just haven't had a whole lot of good swings today against Josh Gear, and a guy who came into this game with a 1-5 record and a 6.02 ERA.
Hanley hit a ball to the warning track in right. Not only does he have a funky delivery, he has a funky changeup.
Yeah,
it has a. I use.
It's like his body comes at you, then here comes the arm, and then the changeup.
It's a dead fish one too. It just drops because he's not throwing it off of a low 90s fastball.
That's always a great term. And if you can visualize throwing a dead fish. And that's what a great changeup. You get the arm speed, and it just doesn't get there as quick.
Is there anybody that you would classify as throwing a live fish?
No.
Changeup.
A live fish would almost be like a knuckleball.
That would have more movement to it.
Yeah.
1-2. Hanley drives that ball to left center field. Over for it is Macias. Dives and he won't get it. And it's into the corner. And Hanley to second. And he'll stop there. He's got himself a double.
No disrespect to Drew Macias, but I think Tony Gwynn probably makes this play. And we've talked about the spaciousness of the outfield here at Petco. There's a lot of room. He just didn't get there. And Hanley's able to get the double, and it's our checkers double of the game. Just out of the reach of Drew Macias.
Hanley Ramirez has yet to hit a triple this season. And that's 27 doubles. And of course, he's got 15 home runs.
Yeah, he's fifth in the league with 27 doubles now. There's a few guys tied at 28. Miguel Tejada leading the league with 30.
Hermida cracks one in the air to right center field. Venable is over. Hanley is tagging. And Hanley's on his way to third base. So Hanley's at third. Ugla's coming up. Our Toyota trend of the day. Let's see if we're trending upwards or if we're stagnant. The Padres are in the middle of a stretch of 25 games in 25 days against 8 different teams. August 10th is their next off day, and this is a getaway day for the Padres, and they've got a unique trip coming up.
Yeah.
Because they're going to fly tonight.
And that's the reason this was a day game.
They're flying tonight to Washington because that's where the series opens on Friday. But once they get to the hotel in Washington tonight, it's early to bed because in the morning they're going to get on a bus and drive to Philadelphia.
And play the Phillies in a makeup game.
Right. But I like their thinking on the travel. Just go to the first hotel and stay there for both the makeup game in Philly and the series in Washington.
So the 3-game series in Washington follows that makeup game. Then they have a 4-game series in Cincinnati.
But they better be careful with the Beltway travel.
That traffic can be awful on the Beltway.
In Washington, D.C.
They want to make it in time for that game against the Phillies. Is that a day game or night game?
That's in Philly, I believe it's a night game. So they'll probably be okay.
The night game. And they get to, of all things, face Cole Hamels in that game, too. That's what's amazing sometimes about the makeup games. Every once in a while you luck out, and the team will bring up a pitcher from the minor leagues. But every once in a while it'll just fall on the day of the ace or on somebody who has a real hot hand.
Ugla has one of the hits against Gear, who's given up 5. Glode's on deck. Dan looking for something straight here at 3-1. Oh, he got a fastball too. It's not often in that count that Dan Ugla lets a pitch like that get by.
You know, it tells you obviously that he was looking for something else, but then you almost say, well, why was he looking for something else?
Let's see if he gets another one. Yes, he did, and he drills it into left center field. Base hit. Hanley scores. Ugla around first. I'm stunned that Gear doubled up on the fastball.
Yeah, me too.
In that situation.
Me too. I was thinking he'd come back with either the changeup or a breaking ball, and Dan Ugla showed us why we're up here. Got the fastball again, and another good swing. Dan with his second hit. And we've talked about him all of a sudden having good swings. He's had a nice series here against the Padres. That's a nice run for the Marlins to get with 2 out.
So a 2-0 lead. And Uggla's at first. Here is Glode. Ball 1 to Ross, who was struck out and walked. Joe Thatcher, the lefty, in the Padres bullpen. You know, one of the oddities about this Padres team is they have a terrific closer, but they can't get to him. Heath Bell. The Padres are 20 under.
An all-star, Heath Bell.
Yeah. And Bell, their closer, has an ERA of 1.64.
Well, the other thing you and I were marveling at earlier, the fact that they have, and they did earlier this year, put together a 10-game winning streak.
Yeah, and that 10-game winning streak had them 1 game over 500. I think it was in late May at that point.
They were 24 and 23.
And it's been
on May 27th.
Pretty steep decline since then. Glode fouls it back.
Quick math tells me they've gone 13 and 34 since they were 1 game over 500.
Of course, they lost Peavy and Young out of their rotation. Came in, strikes out Glode, and the inning is over. Marlins, though, get an RBI single from Dan Uggla. Can't come to San Diego without watching a little Tony Gwynn footage. The Hall of Famer, one of the sweetest swings in baseball history, and a guy that is the name and the face of this franchise. A Gold Glover at one point in the outfield. The science of hitting. Our Land Rover legendary performance, Tony Gwynn. Such a great student of the game. Happy hour has officially begun. Not here at Petco Park. It's only 2 o'clock. But back home at 5 o'clock. If you're just getting back from work, just coming in from a busy day, and you've happened upon the Marlins and the Padres, Ricky Nolasco has a one-hit shutout going in the bottom of the 6th. He's punched out 8 Padres. And as if on cue, here's Tony Gwynn, Jr. And there's a strike.
Yeah, not quite margarita time out here for us yet.
It's getting closer, though. Old Town is beckoning. That's a strike as well.
I think the thing that you mentioned that people forget about Tony Gwynn Sr., that he was a Gold Glove outfielder. So many people kind of remember the latter years. He got a little heavy and still could swing the bat, but wasn't the outfielder that he was in the prime of his career.
In the prime of his career, when he was young and first to Padre, he helped take the Padres to the World Series in '84. Tigers beat him. And then in '98, the Padres got to the World Series and the Yankees swept them. So Gwynn did get to the World Series twice. Glowed, nicely done. Ross has not had the best of days at the plate, but he makes a nice play there. We check in with Frank Fort. Where are you, Frank?
All right, Rich, I am up at the Western Metal Supply Company restaurant and bar up here. This, I should have mentioned before, is one of the great things in this ballpark that I really love. This building was part of San Diego. They built the stadium and kept this to enhance the character of the stadium. You mentioned happy hour back home. It's happy hour up here, too. Now, this gentleman, Alan, happens to be a season seat holder for the Padres. His seats are right in the Petco porch at the right field foul pole, but you come up here. What do you enjoy about coming up here?
Just it's a great shot. It's a great bar. It doesn't cost anything extra to be up here. And if you really want some shade, just a couple steps away.
Now, it's an afternoon game, so this place isn't crowded, and you saw that from your seats and you walked up here.
And it's pretty rare.
Yeah.
It's pretty rare. So we're thinking maybe we should plant ourselves here for the rest of the season to let everybody know how much space is available.
Now, it's usually crowded up here, and they also rent this out for private parties, and a lot of times that's what happens. It's so crowded because they got a private affair going on.
They do. They a lot of times I'll walk all the way from the porch in section 125 all the way around. I get up here, and somebody's bought the whole deck, and you're just walking home.
All right, thanks for the visit, Alan. Appreciate it. The only thing, guys, about up here is you can't see the left field corner. That's the only part of the game you can't see, but it's a very unique perspective. And it's a nice place up here. They kept the character of the downtown area with this building when they built the ballpark. Rich?
Yeah, the left field corner can't see you either. Up the middle, Ugla backhand, wheels and throws and got him, Dan Ugla. Nice play. And that's not an easy guy to get. Cabrera runs as well as just about anybody.
This is just outstanding. He keeps his balance, number one, and is able to pick the ball and then turn. Watch how he gets his upper half turned over to first to get enough on the throw. Got a nice stretch from Ross Glode. And Everett Cabrera can run well. And that's just an outstanding play. Got him by a step.
So Ugla with a big hit and a big play all here in the sixth inning. And Nolasco snaps off a breaking ball to Venable, who really has been overmatched. He's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts.
You know, with Frank up there, we may not see him until Friday night in L.A.
Ricky's out in front 0-2. Boy, 9 strikeouts for Nolasco as he gets Venable for the 3rd time today. 2-0 Marlins. 7th in San Diego. Our Geico quote of the ball game. Geico quote is from Gabby Sanchez. My mindset in April was to go down and have fun, play the game right, not think about what I need to do to get back. And that's on starting the year in AAA. Had an injury setback, but put up solid numbers, finds himself back in the big leagues. Although with Ricky Nolasco pitching the way he's pitching, a pinch hitting opportunity might not arise in this one.
Well, I give credit to Gabby Sanchez. He had a tough spring. He had an opportunity to make the club. When you think about that, how that all would have played out, had he had a terrific spring and made the club as the first baseman, we don't see Emilio Bonifacio. And we see Jorge Cantu at third base.
Or we see Bonifacio in left field. That was a possibility, too.
So it's interesting how all that plays out.
Yeah. Ross is facing Luis Perdomo, who takes over for Gear. 6 innings for Gear. Marlins got him for 2 runs on just the 6 hits. So Gear actually pitched well.
Perdomo, and you watch him, and we saw Gear with that funky arm motion and good changeup. Perdomo more of a max effort guy. Good slider, splitter.
Dominican Republic was a Rule 5 draft by the Giants in 08 and then released. Padres looking for arms, signed him. There's that power fastball that Ross is a little bit late on.
Yeah, they'll see a little extra on the fastball than they saw from Josh Gear.
Cody's hit a lot of ground balls to short in this series. You could hear him yelp after that one. Fox Saturday Baseball is back on Saturday. That's why it's called Fox Saturday Baseball. The Cardinals and Albert Pujols in Philadelphia take on Chase Utley and the Phillies. Fox Saturday Baseball this week at 4 Eastern on Fox.
I know a lot of the Marlins are planning on enjoying a nice off day in San Diego tomorrow. That's another reason it's, I think, nice to sweep a series. And it would be the first sweep of the Padres here in San Diego for the Marlins since 1993, their first year.
Baker fouled that one off his foot. Is there a better spot in the National League to have an off day?
I cannot think of one.
And of course, with the day game here, off night tonight. Big pulls and foul. Andy Fox makes a friend. It's 0-2. Big to first. That would be Adrian Gonzalez. He didn't miss many things down there. Now he'll bring Nolasco to the plate here in the 7th in a 2-0 ball game. Games already in the books. The Pirates finally beat Milwaukee 8-7. The Cubs finally beat the Phillies 10-5. Arizona's beating the Rockies. That's good news for the Fish. 3-2 in the 7th. The Giants are in Atlanta tonight. The Rockies open play wild card leaders. The Marlins with 7 teams all bunched up within 3.5 games of each other in the wild card race.
Hey, how about in the American League, the Yankees have beaten Baltimore. The Yankees have taken a hold of first place all of a sudden. A 1.5 game lead on the Red Sox right now.
Ricky fouls it back. The Rays are in Chicago to face the White Sox tonight. Boston is in Texas. But the Tigers in the Central, 2-game lead up over the White Sox.
Tigers with a nice game from Miguel Cabrera last night, 3 for 3 at a home run. Miggy's at .330, has 19 home runs and 52 RBIs.
Ricky taking his hack.
He's having some pretty good hacks here.
He is. Who's the best hitting pitcher that the Marlins have? Is it between Ricky and JJ?
Oh, right now. I was going to say, yeah, Dontrell, hands down.
In history,
in history.
I'm saying right now.
You got to put Livan Hernandez up there, too, in history. I would say Ricky has some good hacks, but I'd have to go with the left-handed hitting Josh Johnson.
Count still 0-2. Both Josh and Ricky,
each with 4 hits.
And both have a home run in their career. Ricky's came back in 06 against the Cubs.
And JJ's this year.
Yes.
Will not put Al Leiter on that list.
No. Perdomo in for Gear. First inning in relief. We've seen a variety of Padre relievers. And he finishes off Nolasco. Ricky will try to do likewise. Oh, that's a great shot. And then Ricky Nolasco has been outstanding. 2-0. Marlins on top. Not too late to pick up a Marlins season ticket plan and get the best savings and benefits in the big leagues. Don't miss the second half Super Saturday lineup. Great games against the Cubs, Phillies, Mets, and more. It starts at just $85, 1-877 Marlins, or log on to marlins.com.
Rich, a guy just came down below, wanted to know if we wanted a little In-N-Out burger during the game. I said either that or Rubio's.
Is there In-N-Out burger in the ballpark?
I don't think so.
See, that would be
just too good.
Hands down, the greatest concession stand ever. In-N-Out burger, if you're a South Floridian and you never ventured out west, In-N-Out Burger is one of the top burger spots in California. They've got them up and down the coast and into Arizona. Nevada has some. Las Vegas, just moments from the Thomas and Mack and the airport in Las Vegas as well. Ricky. This is outside Adrian Gonzalez.
Rich, you get to that point where you start thinking outside the bun with Taco Bell. And I'm thinking with Ricky Nolasco, you saw the line, 6 innings, giving up just 1 hit, no runs. Now you look at the pitch count, it's just 83. So you'd have to have a couple of really low pitch innings to get him to that 9th inning. And I know Freddie told you and I before the game he'd like to stay away from Nunez and Dan Meyer in this one today. They've been used a lot.
Which is an interesting dilemma now in a 2-0 game.
Yes.
Because you got to close it with somebody. Who do you close it with if you're staying away from the 2 guys that are essentially have been closing since Lindstrom's been on the DL?
Well, that's right. And when Freddie said that, of course, I responded and said, yeah, a nice 7 or 8 run lead would help with that thinking.
So were you thinking outside the bun because we were talking about In-N-Out Burger?
It just reminded me. But I was also thinking about Taco Bell.
Gonzalez takes inside. So Ricky has walked Gonzalez twice, and here is Kuzminov. And, you know, being careful with Gonzalez is all well and good, but Kuzminov with 1 swing could tie the game now.
If you can make a good pitch, you can get Kuzminov to hit that hard ground ball, though, and get a double play because he's such an aggressive hitter.
Kuzminov is one of the top guys in the National League in grounding into double plays. Ryan Zimmerman, Andre Ethier atop that list. Troy Tulowitzki, Yadier Molina second. There you go, and there's Kuzminov 5th. Ken Lee thinking outside the bun as well in the truck.
Andre Ethier, the interesting name, the only left-handed batter on that list.
Good snap on the breaking ball. One and 2 on Kuzminov.
And again, you can go outside the strike zone with 2 strikes on Kuzminov.
He did, and he got him. 3 strikeouts for Kuzminov, 10 strikeouts in the game for Nolasco.
Well, I tell you what, Kuzminov's gone down 3 times. Will Venable has struck out 3 times. There's that slider. There it is outside the strike zone. When you have a hitter like Kuzminov and get ahead, you can do that. Good pitch.
They're not saying Kuz. They're booing.
You know, Ricky has a chance. I don't know if I've ever seen this before. So far, 2 hitters with the hat trick, Venable and Kuzminov. And Alfonso is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts.
Line smash into right field, a base hit. Gonzalez around second. Will stop there. Drew Macias with just the 2nd hit of the ball game for the Padres.
Been busy over there at the first base coach's box for the Padre first base coach. I think Marlins fans who have followed the club since day one will remember Rich Renteria. Rick Renteria is what he'd like to be called now, but 1993 hit over 250, 103 games as a Marlin. Played a few games in 94 and was always terrific coming off the bench with big base hits, the secret weapon.
Brendan Donnelly is first up in the Marlins pen. And here is Blanks with one out and runners first and second in a 2-run game in San Diego. Blanks had the only other hit for the Padres. He and Cody Ross, a couple of big league players out of New Mexico.
Wonder if they've gotten together and talked about Area 51.
Good breaking ball on a 2-0. Certainly that's not what Blanks was looking for.
Yeah, you have to be careful, and this is the first time in this game the Padres have gotten a couple of men on base. And we've seen what Blanks can do with a mistake pitch.
Yeah, now it's 3-1. So I guess the question is, how confident is Ricky in the breaking ball? Does he throw it 3-1 since he threw it 2-0?
If you're a young hitter like Kyle Blanks, I think you still look for that fastball, though, because that's the best pitch that he can hit.
Walked him. Bags are loaded. And here comes Freddie.
You wonder if the 9-pitch at bat took anything out of Ricky Nolasco. Remember, he ended the inning, fouled off a lot of pitches, was up there for 9 pitches, finally struck out. He has not been as sharp this inning, and that's going to be all.
So Freddie's going to the bullpen. Nolasco pitched well, but the bags are loaded. Here's our Marooney called to the bullpen.
When you need a car, truck or van, who you gonna call? Marooney! 2-0 Yanks. Next batter, Nick Swisher. It always hurts more with 2 outs. Matsui and Posada score 4-0 New York. Batted around in that first inning, 4 runs on 5 hits. Yankees have that run support for A.J. Burnett, 8-1 in his career against Baltimore. Ty Wiggan going to right. Nick Swisher hurt me. Take another look. Nick on the move as he totally redeems himself from earlier in the inning. Bottom 3, 2 outs, and Jorge's bringing gifts. Is clock radio. His 12th home run of the season. Yanks up 5-0. Top 6, Luke Scott going deep to right field, but that's where Nick Swisher holds his ground, and he makes the grab up against the wall. Top 7, 5-1 Yanks. What did I say? It always hurts more with 2 outs. Aubrey Huff swinging, but it's a wild pitch from Burnett. Adam Jones scores. 5-2 ball game. Fast forward into the 9th. Brian Bruni on. Yanks up 6-2. And what did I say? It always hurts more with 2 outs. Adam Jones, 14th home run of the season, 6-3. Who's taller, Jones or Nick Markakis? How about they go back to back to find out? Markakis hits his 11th of the season, 6-4 ball game. So that would be it for Bruni. In for Mariano Rivera to save the day, going for his 5th save in his last 6 days. 2 outs now. Aubrey Huff, swing back.
Oh, happy hour with the fish. The Marlins are hoping. I know you were hoping those were either mojitos or margaritas. But
I was looking for the salt on the cups, but I didn't see that.
That was a lemonade, maybe limeade.
Brendan Donnelly came in Monday night, threw one pitch, got Kuzminoff out on a hard ground ball. So right now he'd love to get that double play ball facing the left-handed hitting, the switch hitting, Luis Rodriguez.
Infield's back for 2, and Donnelly misses outside. Even Glode is playing behind blanks at first. Pinto getting ready in the bullpen as well. And a fly ball, a little pop-up shallow center, shallow enough that Hanley goes out to get it. And that's a nice out by Donnelly. Alfonso is the scheduled hitter, but I think we are going to see Chase Headley.
Well, we talked about the rough afternoon for Alfonso. He struck out twice facing Ricky Nolasco. So Bud Black trying to just get a big hit. And in the case of Rodriguez, it would have taken a deep fly ball because Adrian Gonzalez, as the runner at third base, does not have very good speed at all.
And now that there's 2 outs, you can see Ricky. For a starter, it's got to be tough to watch this. You've worked all day long. He was brilliant until here in the 7th inning. Walked Gonzalez, struck out Kuzminoff, a single and another walk, and all of a sudden your entire day's work is on the line and it's out of your hands.
It's one of those things in talking to starting pitchers over the years, they understand it and they realize it is out of their hands. They've done the best that they could to get the game to this point.
Another good jam shot. I think he busted his bat. That doesn't make it any easier to watch.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
See, in Nolasco,
he's upset that he had a bad inning.
They recycle here at.
That's a 3-pointer.
I haven't found it yet. That thing's got to be covered with ketchup and.
Now this is a very green state, so I'm wondering if that was for aluminum cans or for trash, plastic bottles.
I'd like to see that ball when it comes out of there. 0-1 to Headley.
That ball comes out of there. It might not be fit for the environment.
Bases filled with Padres. Gonzalez walked. Macias singled. And then Blanks walked. And that was the end of Nolasco. Donnelly has a funky delivery. We were talking about that of Gear.
He jumps at you.
Yeah.
One thing I like about Brendan Donnelly, and he said it the very first day that he was here, the fact that, what does he throw? He likes to throw outs. So he's aggressive. He goes right after hitters. I think they found that ball. Just a little mustard on it.
1-2. Baker framed it. I'm not sure Donnelly reacted like he thought it was a strike. He kind of finishes that way anyways. 2-2. That's out, and now the count's full. And Nolasco can barely stand to watch.
Yeah, Ricky's pacing in the dugout.
Full count, Donnelly. Oh, got him! At the knees! Brendan Donnelly.
You can't take that pitch 3-2 with the bases loaded.
Strikes out Headley, and look at Nolasco. with a lot of relief. And it's still 2-0.
If you told a Phillies fan that Ryan Howard would have the bat in his hands with a chance to give his team a lead going into the ninth with one swing of the bat this afternoon, the way things have been going for the Phils, I guarantee you that fan would say, that would be awesome. So to Philadelphia we go. Carlos Zambrano and the Cubs trying to avoid being swept in Philly for the first time since '99 at the vet. Bottom one, Jay Sutley. Strike him out, throw him out, double play with Rollins being caught at second base. Jamie Moore on the mound for the Phils. 6th-round pick in '84 by the Cubs. Top 3, Carlos Zambrano at the plate and Ryan Howard. Maybe he's trying to impress the Eagles.
Big moment for the Fish. Brendan Donnelly in. And here's the pitch again.
You know, is it a borderline pitch? Yes. But with the bases loaded and your ball club trails by 2 runs, that's too close to take. Had good movement. Ricky Nolasco loved it, and it keeps it a 2-0 ball game. Good pitching by Brendan Donnelly. Couple of changes. Jose Lobaton comes in to catch, and the new pitcher is Mike Adams. Adams hits in the 8th spot.
And the Marlins would love to add on here as we get to the 8th. We've got the top of the order. Coghlan, Bonifacio, and Hanley. Adams delivers a breaking ball. Coghlan has singled in 3 trips.
Adams pitched the 9th inning the other night, Monday night. Gave up a couple of hits but no runs. One of the batters he faced in that inning was Chris Coghlan. Got him to pop up to short.
6 1/3 innings for Nolasco, 2 hits, and did not give up a run. He walked 3 and struck out 10 through 95 pitches.
Boy, think about the job Donnelly did, not only striking out Headley that last out, but getting the pop fly off the bat of Luis Rodriguez with the bases loaded.
Baker and Donnelly. 0-2 on the ground, and it kicks away. Coghlan's aboard. An error by Luis Rodriguez. And the Marlins have the leadoff man aboard on what looked like a routine play out at second. Time now for the stay in the game hold of the day, brought to you by Just for Men Hair Color. Padre leaders, Scott Linebrink, Keith Bell. An Otska sighting, Akinori. Just as middle relievers keep their team in the game, you too can stay in the game with Just for Men Hair Color. Bonifacio, nice drag bunt, picked up, fires to first, and out there with Rodriguez covering. Gonzalez made a nice play and just got Bonifacio.
When you have Bonifacio going up the line on that play, that's a tough play for a second baseman to get over and cover first. Gonzalez makes a nice play. kind of leads his second baseman, Rodriguez, who got there just ahead of Bonifacio. I think he was thinking about base hit, but he is able to get it down, and he gets a sacrifice bunt. Good defensive play by the Padres. I think they're talking over right now whether or not to pitch to Hanley Ramirez, even with Jeremy Hermida on deck.
Now, Hermida was the hitting hero early in this one with a home run in the second inning. Hanley has doubled in 3 trips, and the Padres are going to put him on.
Yep, they know that he's hitting .429 with runners in scoring position.
We haven't seen too much of this. Teams intentionally walking Hanley.
Well, you have 2 teams in this series that have key guys in their offense. Adrian Gonzalez for the Padres and Hanley Ramirez for the Marlins.
Intentional walks issued.
Now, the other choice that Bud Black has is, will he leave Adams in to face Hermida, or will he go to his bullpen?
Today's Mercedes-Benz E-Class Attention Assist of the game. Watch this play, and this is Cabrera, the fast shortstop. Uggla got him by less than a step.
Now you can really make it hurt if you're the Marlins, because Jeremy Hermida is going to get the matchup. Freddie's going to get the matchup that he wants, the left-handed hitter against the right-handed pitcher.
Mike Adams bends one in there for a strike. Coughlin not biting out at second, with Hanley at first. Remember, the inning opened with an error by Rodriguez. Hermida slaps it towards short, and Cabrera throws it away at second. Here comes Coughlin to the plate. He's going to score. And the Padres kick it around. The Marlins will pick up the run and take it. I was just about to say, before that error at second, the Padres had played pretty well defensively. And Cabrera, I think, was fooled a little bit. Hanley was really busting from first to second.
You know, you like to see that, and sometimes that's what you can do if you get a decent lead at first base. You can put the pressure on the shortstop. That's a poor throw. Looked like it clipped Hanley, and then all of a sudden that allowed Coughlin to come in and score. So the error by Cabrera, everybody's safe, and all of a sudden San Diego playing sloppy out there.
You know, I don't know if they get Hanley at second with a
close.
good throw.
Close.
He was that far along. So 3-0.
And the Padres this year, Rich, have been a better defensive club, error-wise, than the Marlins. Came into this game with 52 errors. The Marlins have committed 63.
No RBI, just a straight E6. So 2 infield errors. Puts Uggla at the dish with runners at the corners. And Dan smokes one and almost knocked Hanley. Knocked Hanley down. Hanley
saying, Dan, keep it fair. Keep it fair.
Look at
Hanley, a little rub there where that ball hit him that Cabrera threw. It's like getting hit by a pitch.
He almost got hit there by Uggla. Dan swings and misses. Uggla, 5 hits here in San Diego. RBI single in the 6th. Had a single in the second inning as well. So he's put together 4 games in a row. Hanley, Hermida. And Ugla strikes out. Now bring Glode up with 2 outs.
Yeah, and again, just one of those little situations where the Marlins can't add on. A chance to pick up one more run, sac fly, maybe in that situation, and Adams was able to get the strikeout.
Glode pops it up. Cabrera makes the catch. The Padres give the Marlins a run and stretches the lead to 3-0. Ways to conserve energy. Log on to FPNL.com. Take a free online home energy survey. By Largo Honda, still no sharks. And by Taco Bell, think outside the bud. Think inside the gas lamp district. Brett Carroll making an appearance at Petco Park. He comes in defensively in right field. The Marlins in shutdown mode now, trying to finish this game against the Padres. Got 6 outs to get and a 3-run lead.
Bright, sunny afternoon still, so Brett Carroll makes sure he has the glasses on, the eye black.
Brendan Donnelly is out there. Now remember, if you have joined us late, the Marlins would like to stay away from Dan Meyer and Leo Nunez as well. I think that's one of the questions moving forward with Nunez. Is he durable enough as a closer to pitch 3 days in a row or 4 days in a row if necessary? Ground ball up the middle. Ugla's not going to get this one. Lobaton has himself a base hit, and we check in with Frank Ford. Frank?
All right, thanks very much, Rich and Tommy. Last night during Late Night with the Marlins and Email Tuesday, you wondered where the tarp was. We were told it was underneath. Well, let's go searching for it. I went this morning with the video camera. Now you're looking at the left field line. Nothing there, right? Well, we have to dig a little deeper under the surface. If you remove that lower level of pad, that's where the tarp is. And if you look close enough, you can actually see some cobwebs in there because the Padres have actually had to take it out only 3 times all season. They call it the tarp tunnel or the tarp cave. That's where it's stored down the left field line. Rich and Tommy?
You got to think, guys, that the tarp crew here in San Diego is probably 4 or 5 guys, and maybe they probably send a text message out.
It's a part-time job here.
Yeah.
You don't get full benefits.
A few guys in the neighborhood, they call them up. Like the volunteer fire department.
Yeah, up in New Hampshire or something.
Yeah.
To get back to your point, and it's a good one, Rich, we've talked about it with Leo Nunez. as far as durability, last year for Nunez, just 48 in the third innings, 45 games for Kansas City. He is getting close to that. He's thrown 42 innings already this year. His career high was 53 and 2/3 in 05. And those innings weren't stressful, not that they're not stressful, but they weren't save situation innings. He was not the closer with Kansas City.
Everett Cabrera at the plate. And he pulls one foul. I think this series has been a good illustration of what we've talked about. The Marlins don't have a lights-out closer. But they've got a variety of arms now with the addition of Donnelly and Ayala, paired with the Kiko Caleros, the Myers, and the Nunez's of the pen. Guys who can pitch the eighth, or if necessary, could pitch the ninth.
I think we'll see in these next 2 innings to get the final 6 outs. We'll see Freddie mixing and matching with what he has available down there.
One, two. Ooh, that one just.
Boy, 2 in a row foul tips, and Bake just hasn't been able to hang on. He's had some tough pitches to do so. Donnelly's made some good pitches, and Cabrera's been able to stay alive.
Now the 1-2. Hit pretty well. Glowed on the bag. Out to second. Nice play. 3-6 on the double play. Ross Glowed. A tough day at the plate, but he's made 2 very nice plays at first. And that picks up a couple of outs.
Yeah, sometimes when that ball takes you right toward the bag, you step on the bag. This is one of those plays as a runner. You don't really think about it, but if he stays up and doesn't slide, it might hit the back of Lobaton. But a perfect throw by Glowed, and that's just a nice double play to get 2 quick outs. That's terrific.
That's a great job in the truck, and it's our cameraman here as well. 2 really good looks. Donnelly, a nice job, and a Marooney called to the bullpen.
When you need a car, truck or van, who you gonna call? Marooney!
Will Venable is the hitter. Raniel Pinto misses down low as he comes out of the bullpen. And the count is 1-1. 2 outs, nobody on. It's the bottom of the 8th. And the Marlins bullpen Now turns it over to Pinto. Donnelly got 4 outs. 4 big outs. He came in with the bases loaded and 1 out in the 7th, relieving Ricky Nolasco, and he got those 2 outs. And then the double play here in the 8th. 1-2 in the dirt. And that's not your typical double play, even though Donnelly got the ground ball that he wanted. This is such a great look.
Yeah, right there. Steps on the bag, turns, and then just a perfect throw right past the head of Lobaton. And Hanley there for the tag. That's a tag play because he touched first base.
Somebody threw something out in center field.
I think a baseball got into center field. Maybe out of that Padre bullpen.
I'm stunned we haven't seen a beach ball yet. That used to be a staple.
Yeah, I mean, if you come to Southern California, San Diego, L.A., and you don't see a beach ball, maybe at Dodger Stadium.
Two and two. Venable has punched out 3 times. That was against Nolasco. Ricky struck out 10. 95 pitches as Nolasco tries to even his record at 7-7.
Well, I've talked a little bit about that series starting Friday night at Dodger Stadium. Josh Johnson against Clayton Kershaw in the opening game of that series.
The matchups: Johnson and Kershaw, Vandenherk and Hiroki Kuroda. I'm interested to see Jason Schmidt throw.
Well, so were the Dodgers for the last few years, so they were happy to see him pitch last night.
Yeah, they signed him to a huge contract. And it just hadn't worked out. He was injured from the get-go. Pinto walking Venable. And as a special reward for that, he gets to face Adrian Gonzalez.
Yeah, Josh Johnson will be going for win number 9 after that 2-inning rain-shortened start against the Phillies.
Dodgers and Reds tonight in Los Angeles. I'm sure tonight you'll spend the night in the hotel watching that game, getting ready for Friday night, right?
I'll probably not.
Come on. Good pitch by Pinto. He jams one of the better hitters in the National League, and Adrian Gonzalez. And the Marlins carry this lead into the ninth. Night with the Fish, Hollywood Boulevards. The Stars will be out. Yeah. I think Morgan Fairchild will be there Friday and Saturday in high definition. Sunday, Frank's two buddies will be by, Homer and Bart. There's a big celebrity softball game.
Yeah, that's the rumor going around.
Saturday night, so
yeah.
many of the stars will be out.
Frank is already doing research on that pending celebrity softball game.
There will be stars and starlets, apparently.
Well, we are going to get a chance to see that closer of the San Diego Padres, Heath Bell, with fastballs and sliders. And look at the numbers. For a last-place team, he has had an all-star year, and he was an all-star this year.
And like you pointed out, up until the end of May, the Padres were actually playing well. And Bell was getting save opportunities, but a few injuries, and then all of a sudden, everything kind of went sideways on San Diego. Bell, of course, a tough act to follow. It helps, though, that he was part of the Padres bullpen, I think, when Trevor Hoffman was here.
And I'm sure Trevor Hoffman helped him. By the way, during that 10-game winning streak, Heath Bell had 5 saves.
Cody Ross with the count 1-1. Heath Bell was a New York Met and seems to enjoy going back and pitching against the Mets in New York.
Yeah, it's human nature, I think, when you have been with an organization and you get traded. You'll always have the feeling that they didn't want you. That's not always the case. But you always, when you return to play in that city or play against that team, you always have a little extra incentive, I think.
He's had dramatically better numbers in San Diego than he did in New York. Rancho Santiago Community College. And you saw that, and there are his career numbers. You saw that he was signed as a non-drafted free agent. He actually was drafted in '97 in the 69th round by the Rays. I didn't even know they had that many rounds.
They don't anymore. It only goes up to 50 now.
So he didn't sign. He figured he would play in junior college. And then he ended up signing with the Mets. And now he's an all-star. Used a lot the last couple of years to set up Hoffman. 57 holds over 07 and 08. And Cody swings at a ball in his eyes. Been a tough series for Cody Ross.
Yeah, just 1 for 10 here in San Diego. He'll enjoy the day off and get himself geared up and ready to go against a club that he knows well, the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Baker 1 for 3. 4 hits in the series. You know, the Marlins on the verge of sweeping the Padres here. The Padres have yet to come to South Florida. San Diego's coming to town at the end of August. Sandwiched between the Mets and the Braves. One. 1-2 to John Baker. Wes Helms is on deck. Bell just firing 94-mile-an-hour fastballs. Pittsburgh beat Milwaukee with a run in the bottom of the ninth, even though they traded Adam LaRoche to Boston for a couple of prospects. Cubs finally beat the Phillies. Zambrano beating Moyer. Kevin Gregg's 19th save. And Colorado outlasted Arizona 4-3. So when we open the show, you see Leo Nunez, who is ready for the bottom of the ninth. We showed you all the wild card teams, and that one is a base hit. And Baker, big turn at first, has a 2-hit day.
Good job. We've seen Bake hit the ball the other way, but today he's hit a couple of balls well the other way. Both of his base hits into right field, and that's pretty good at bat against a guy that's throwing pretty hard in Heath Bell. Slider down and in, pretty good pitch by Bell, and he gets it by the Gold Glove first baseman Adrian Gonzalez.
Helms now gets the pinch hit at bat. This is the pitcher spot.
A little surprise, Rich. The Marlins yesterday, actually the night before, called up Gabby Sanchez. He was here and ready for the game last night. Did not play last night. We haven't seen him today. And you have the feeling he's probably not going to start Friday night in Los Angeles against the Dodgers. I say that even though a lefty, Clayton Kershaw, is pitching. So you wonder when he'll get in and how Freddie will use him.
Well, the Marlins with the opportunity for another bat, because off day tomorrow, off day on Monday, the ability to condense the rotation into a 4-man rotation. Helms fouls it back. Colorado, the wild card leader when everything started, and they win. So the Rockies are 52-43. The Giants were a half game back. They played tonight. Giants are in Atlanta. Atlanta continues to smack them around. Bell misses up with that fastball. The Braves, Houston, the Cubs, and Milwaukee were all tied at 3 back to begin the day. But the Cubs have won, so they stay 3 back. The Brewers lost to Pittsburgh. So the Marlins actually have a chance to move ahead of Milwaukee in the wild card race. It still would put the Marlins 6th out of the 7 teams that are all bunched together.
I think that's the toughest journey in the wild card race, is the fact that there are so many teams. You got 1 or 2 teams ahead of you. It's a little different, a little easier.
Kiko Calero is up, which is not a surprise because, as we've told you, the Marlins want to be careful with Nunez.
I think the good news, the fact that there is an off day tomorrow, so everybody will be rested and ready to go Friday night in Chavez Ravine.
Always a deep count. In fact, if Wes Helms were the president, I think that would his code name would be Deep Count.
Another one. Sees a lot of pitches, fouls off tough pitches. I like that, deep count.
Full count, 1 out. Struck him out.
Well, it took a nasty pitch to get him out of there, and Heath Bell made that. A good slider. There it is. Just a perfect pitch.
Wow.
8-pitch at bat for deep count. Wes Helms.
Coughlin now to face Bell. Coughlin hits it to right field and hits it deep. Back goes Venable. It's gone. Coughlin hits a 2-run homer. And the Marlins crack it open. He's been hitting it hard all series long. And Marlin fans having a good time here in San Diego.
Well, you're absolutely right, Rich. We've talked about it. Chris Coughlin's hit a lot of balls hard. Hasn't had the best of luck, but he takes advantage of about a belt-high fastball, a long way, ball carrying well, and hits his 4th home run of the year and sends it out to some Marlins fans right in that area.
Those were the guys that we saw on the tour of the ballpark at the start.
Yeah, right in front of us. They were on a Padre tour.
They were on a Padre tour with Padre fans, and they walked in front of the booth, and the guy was saying, yeah, those guys up there, they're just the visiting.
There's Jerry Coleman, Hall of Fame broadcaster, and they're going, hey, Rich, hey, Tommy.
Those guys are just the visiting TV crew. And those guys out there said, no, that's Rich and Tommy.
And I believe they said they were coming up to L.A., too.
Yes.
Well, a great trip. I mean, if you ever have the opportunity and you want to follow the Marlins, just head west, a couple of nice ballparks, great weather.
They've got the tollway between the two, so if traffic is bad on I-5, right, then you can veer off.
Yeah, that's new. That's new, I think.
They didn't have that in your day?
No, they had dirt roads.
Come on. There they are.
All right, nice going, guys.
Guys, whoever's talking to him on the phone, tell him thanks for the shout-out during the tour.
Yeah, and we'll see him in L.A.
And suggest that they stop at an In-N-Out Burger on the way up to L.A.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yep. Oh, 2 to Bonifacio. Coughlin's hit 4 home runs in the big leagues this year. And he's kind of pulled out of a slump, Tommy. His bat was not all that hot coming in.
Hey, by the way, with that home run, too, Leo Nunez has taken a seat in the bullpen, and we'll see Kiko Calero.
That, I think, is the best-case scenario for Freddie. I don't think he really wanted to have to use Nunez in a save situation. Struck him out. Heath Bell strikes out Emilio Bonifacio, but Chris Coughlin goes deep. The Marlins stretch their lead in San Diego. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 50% on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com. Call 1-800-947-AUTO. Buy tobacco-free Florida. Tobacco-free Florida wants you to be tobacco-free. Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com for more information. 5-0, Marlins on top, trying to complete their first sweep in San Diego since their inaugural season.
You know, with the Padres, of course, struggling, playing the way they have been, there was an interesting article in the San Diego Union about Adrian Gonzalez as to his tradability. Would he prefer staying here? He's from here, so he certainly said he'd prefer to stay here, but he'd understand if he was traded, got an opportunity to go to a contender. But on the other hand, he's very affordable for the Padres.
Yes, he has an affordable contract, which makes him even more desirable for a contending team. Because you could trade to get him.
It's an in-betweener. I mean, in 2011, he has an option for $5.5 million. And here's a guy who's hitting 30 home runs and driving in 100 RBIs. He's due $4.75 million next year.
And you got to think, if you stick him in a lineup in Boston or in Chicago or someplace, even in Milwaukee, or they probably wouldn't do that with Prince Fielder, but I mean, just stick him in a lineup that's got some protection around him.
And if you're the Padres, you're in that situation where, okay, if you're not going to do anything for the next 2 or 3 years, you could get some pretty good young players, I would think, for Adrian Gonzalez.
Yeah, but the hard part is he's a hometown kid.
Yeah,
it's a great story.
It's not a very popular move if it were made.
He is certainly the most popular player in northern Mexico, which the Padres draw from. Kuzmanov has struck out 4 times in this game.
Well, he's gone from the hat trick to the golden sombrero.
That could be us tonight in Old Town. Drew Macias takes a fastball for a strike. Ground ball glowed to his right. Picks it up. And a flip to Calero, and Kiko's got a couple quick outs.
Yeah, the Padres struck out 12 times today. Ricky Nolasco struck out 10 in his 6 1/3. Donnelly got 1. And Calero strike out of Kuzmanov here.
So it's blanks now, and that's all that stands between the Marlins and a 3-game sweep in San Diego. And Kiko drops in a strike. Marlins will see this ball club, as I noted, at the end of August. But the next 9 games for the Fish, pretty treacherous. The Dodgers and Los Angeles with their 60 wins, tops in all of baseball. Then the Braves. Atlanta's had such a great July. Then the Cubs, who are in the middle of the wild card and in the middle of the Central race.
Well, the last time the Marlins tossed a shutout, not too long ago, that was Chris Volstad's complete game shutout in San Francisco.
One and two. No swing. And Mark Wiley says, come on. Places to go, people to see. He's a San Diego guy.
I'm sure he has a lot of people to see tonight.
That one's outside. The Marlin fans that have traveled to San Diego, we've seen them in and around downtown. They have enjoyed their stay. Trying to finish this, enjoy the off day, and get to Los Angeles. And Calero walks blanks.
Many different ways. You could take the train. You can take the train up to Los Angeles. Beautiful trip. See the Pacific Ocean on most of the way. I'm told $34
on the train.
On the train, probably a lot better than battling traffic at this hour, heading north to Long Beach or Newport Beach.
Now Calero faces Luis Rodriguez. That's a California look. Padres.
The Marlin fan and
this is
track of the game too.
A painful 3 games for the Padres, and afterwards they don't have to fight traffic up I-5. They have to fly across the country. They're supposed to get in at 1, 2 in the morning in Washington, D.C. Blanks is going to end up at second. Marlins were not holding him.
Yeah, get into D.C. late and then get up early to get on that bus to head to Philadelphia to play that makeup game against the Phillies.
Well, Calero right now not throwing strikes, and that means Nunez is back up in the bullpen.
And as travelers that we are, realizing that when you get to D.C., charters cannot land at Reagan, which is much closer to the downtown area, so you land at Dulles, which is close to an hour from the main Washington, D.C. area. But we always factor all those things in.
Let's see if Kiko can finish this. Still 3-2. Yeah, 8 more days till the trading deadline. Does this 3-game sweep change the Marlins' stance at all? Hard to tell.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. It really is.
Because it's a tough market to read with all the teams that are out there. Popped up. Bonifacio got it. And the Marlins sweep the Padres. Kiko Calero finishes. Ricky Nolasco starts and wins. And the Marlins get a couple of big homers from left-handed bats. Chris Coughlin, Jeremy Hermida,